Ito po naman yung isang bagong topic ulit. Gameness and fighting spirit. No difference of type and style can account for the presence or lack of gameness and fighting spirit in the true gamecock. Gameness is a primordial condition without which no cock can enter the pit. If a cock should be built up, the first material to attend to should be gameness. It must be there already. It cannot be bred into a dunghill by any amount of breeding, though deficient stock may be considerably improved by grading. Excuse me. It is the hen that carries all in her for transmitting the gameness to her sons. It is laid into the egg with the maternal yolk, with the maternal chromatin and the maternal blood. An inbred gamecock may be put over plain hens and produce some sort of fighters, but will never produce a game offspring. A true game hen, however, may be mated to an ordinary cock and produce great stock. In breeding, the grades on their true game mother will grade up the progeny, but the yellow streak of the ordinary cock will eventually show up. It is a matter of fact, rank foolishness to try any sort of grading dunghills to their game mother or grandmother. Gameness is a dedicated matter to deal with the breeding yard anyhow, so that the honest and careful breeder cannot be too particular about the item of gameness. Novices are more inclined to try and experiment along the line and sometimes will not take any advice until they have to pay for their experience someday. No game fowl is good enough to look at. However pleasant and proud the cock may be, if he is not a true game blood, keep him away from the breeding yard. Breeders differ on their appreciation of gameness, and while some are satisfied with the stock that will fight game during a battle, do not care how the cocks behave the day following. If they do not show fight after cooling down, they allow them an alibi, considering their sick condition a sufficient excuse. Others demand categorically that a gamecock must show and take a pounding the day after having been cut down and die game. Such cock generally will show fight the third day also. For steel and slasher fighting, the second day test is considered sufficient. But when cocks are to be fought naked heel, they must take a pounding the third day. This is asking for a very severe test, as natural spurs cause bad wounds, and after a melee, cocks may really become very sick. Orientals are naked heel specialists, and being of very rugged constitution, will stand such a tier better than a nervous Caucasians. A good standard for gameness is, we believe, 3-day test for Orientals, 2-day test for Caucasian, and single-day test for extreme fast slasher fighters, which are naturally more delicate in skin and tissue. So long as there are such gamecocks, there is no earthly reason why a breeder should be satisfied with less. And most any cocker may face someday adverse condition in the pit where his cock will need the extra gameness badly. To believe that a cock should take his death gamely in a battle, as sufficient is in so far wrong as we have already adverted, as cock have a very keen eye and known exactly when the other cock is failing in courage. An injured cock, or nearly so, may be caused to run before a badly cut cock that shows no signs of quitting. Cocks have a very clear notion of each other's courage, guided by the supreme sight, and do not fail to draw the consequences. Just a bit of reserve gameness may win a doubtful battle or maim. We deem it fairly superfluous to describe the real meaning of fighting spirit in a cock. As we come in contact with that spirit daily, it is ignorance to suppose that pugnacity is artificially produced in a cock by stimulation. Pugnacity exists in all parts and is the motive power in the struggle for life. Love and hunger are the direct cause of same. Plants fight for their place under the earth and above. Insects, reptiles, fish, birds, and animals fight for survival. Originally, the man fought constantly for love and hunger. War as practiced between the nation of today is nothing but organized fighting for some substitute and mass of the old motives. Food resources, racial expansion, and the corresponding politics are an accumulation of the individual fighting motives, hunger, and love. Both must be satisfied by the individual, the nation, and the world. From nature's point of view, the average time city dweller will not understand why these fighting proclivities have been instituted as natural law. It appears more reasonable and liable for general benefit. In contrary to existing condition, there will be a peace law quite apart. That fight is necessary from a selective point of view. It must be borne in mind that the general inclination of most beings towards sociability would lacking fight soon cause specimens of a race is to associate in great conglomeration. The distribution of food would be made difficult, but in the case that such agglomeration will rapidly find enough food, there will be that other problem which is just as serious. The droppings which accumulating daily is mass will turn the best place insuperable. Okay, part 2.